Hello everyone, Dr. Charlie Johnson. I'm back to share with you 10 more things that you really need to know about anxiety. In the previous video, we left off and I was sharing with you that the experience of anxiety, although it feels as if it will never end, it typically has a beginning, middle, and end. However, when one is in the throes of an anxiety escalation, one feels that it would never end. This highlights the power of thinking in anxiety. I'm going to go scriptural here. As a man, a woman thinketh, so he is. If you think anxious thoughts, you're likely to be anxious. If you think sad thoughts, you're likely to be sad. If you have angry thoughts, you're likely to be angry. So in relation to anxiety, individuals who experience anxiety typically rehearse the worst possible scenario in their minds. Number 2, stated simply, by nature, human beings, we seek to escape or to avoid anxiety. However, I often share with clients, with patients, that anxiety is like the monster in the closet when you're a child. The monster doesn't exist, but in your mind he exists, so you're terrified. Anxiety, the anticipation of dire consequences, may lead one to escape or avoid potentially anxiety-provoking situations. But in the process of avoiding, the beast becomes stronger. It's a toothless beast, but when one is in the throes of anxiety, it doesn't feel that way. And there's a desire to escape or avoid. One of the things that I teach patients, clients, is to gradually expose oneself in a state of relaxation to situations that may lead to an anxiety response. And in doing so, gradually, incrementally, one discovers that, oh, I'm okay. A catastrophe didn't take place. I'm okay. Okay. I digress. But number 13, we have to face our anxiety and discover that in doing so, it does not result in a calamity. So it's important gradually, incrementally, to lean into the source of anxiety to discover that a post-apocalyptic scenario will not ensue. Number 14, anxiety is our mind's and body's response to perceived physical or psychological stress. Typically leads to the experience of one wanting to flee, one wanting to fight, or one being immobilized by the imminent or potentially imminent threat of anxiety. Number 15, unfortunately, our natural ability to accurately perceive and assess threat produces a lot of false positives. That is, we perceive that a situation is likely to be dangerous psychologically or physically, when in reality that is not the case. Number 16, existential psychologist Fritz Perls described anxiety as the space between the here and now and the future. You can't live in the future. You can't live in the past. You can only live in the here. You can only live in the here and now. Which just brings us to the next one, 17, that anxiety almost always involves the aspect of future tripping. You're paying rent on an apartment that you're not living in. Okay, you're anticipating a dangerous situation that may or may not exist. In all likelihood, it doesn't exist, but you're acting and responding as if it does. So, future tripping. You can't live in the future. You can only live in the here and now. Number 19. The stressor is external. The stress response, anxiety, is internal. So the stressors, the stress is here, is outside of you. Your interpretation of the data leads to the stress response, the experience of anxiety. Number 20, and this is important and has treatment implications. It is nearly impossible to have an anxious mind in a relaxed body. I think the psychologist was Joseph Wolpe, who talked a lot about this, that you can't be anxious if your body is relaxed. So the treatment implication is a tool for diminishing the impact of anxiety, reducing the intensity of anxiety, is to relax your body. Relaxed body, relaxed mind. I'll be back in a later video to talk a little bit more about anxiety. Take care.